Today on the Mindset Podcast, we have a special guest. We have Shane,
the one and only,
who's the owner and founder of Stack3d.com, and also Arthur, who's our CFO and good friend. So just have a roundabout conversation about Stack'd and the industry and where things are going, and love to pick your brain a little bit. So for those that don't know, Shane is from New Zealand. He's traveled far and wide just for this single podcast.
This is exactly it. When we were at dinner and you were like, hey, do you want to do a podcast tomorrow?
Hey, this was planned 6 months in advance, not the night before. So here we are. So, yeah, man, I wanted to thank you for coming on.
All good, yeah.
And kind of dive into it, man. So can you tell us what the early years of Stack'd was like?
Like the early years?
Yeah, well, I mean, what year was Stack'd founded?
I believe, I don't know exactly because I deleted all my early stuff because it was so badly written.
Wow.
Maybe like 2010.
Okay.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just doing it after university. Like, I'd go home, write a story. It would loosely be based on like kind of like new release sections from various online stores because no one really hyped or teased or launched things. Mm-hmm. They just came out.
Yeah.
And we would get stuff from magazines, from occasional webcasts. Mm. And I would just get one. I think it started at one a week. And then I think I sped it up when things got a little bit busy. Like now it's not that, but it was one a week. And then, because originally it was a blog for an online store. Mm-hmm. And no one in New Zealand was reading it. It was all Americans.
It was originally a supplement store you had online.
Yeah. And I did a blog.
And was the website called Stack'd? Is that what?
No.
What was it called?
This is a key piece of information because people have asked me that question, but no one's ever asked me what it was originally called.
What was it called originally?
It was originally called 8th Limit.
8th Limit?
8th Limit. It was that was the store name. It was just 8thlimit.com blog.
Was it like the number 8th limit.com?
Yeah.
So what's the story behind that name?
I can't remember. There was a story. It got overshadowed by. There was a story. I'm pretty sure there was.
Do you still have the domain, or you let it go?
No,
it's gone, yeah.
Because the 9th came around.
The 9th, yeah.
And well, because no one was reading it from New Zealand,
yeah.
And I was writing about new products we were bringing into the store, and so I think one night I actually looked at the analytics because I'd never seen it before.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what that was. It was just this little feature on the CMS, and I was like, I'll check it out. Mm-hmm. 0 New Zealanders. And I was like, well, this is not what I wanted. It was all American, so I thought I should split them up.
Yeah.
That night I came up with Stack'd. I wanted Stack'd with an E. It was taken. It was a restaurant store, a restaurant website, and they wanted 50 G's for it. And I said, guys,
not gonna work.
I don't have that kind of money right now.
Yeah.
So not even now. But so I just put the 3 in because Jack was killing it at the time.
Yeah.
Made sense to me. And then I split it up, changed the hours, changed the spelling, added a few more brands that I wasn't selling, and then just kind of went from there. I didn't make money until maybe 13 or 14, I think. I would just come home, do it after work, after school, and just grew.
So it started in 2010,
I think it was 2010. Might have been 11. I really don't know.
So like 12, 13 years into it now.
Yeah, probably.
Pretty crazy, man. What would you say the hardest part about running Stack'd is?
I don't think much is really that hard.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's fun.
Yeah.
I still like hunting down new products, I still like hearing about changes people make, new flavors, new formulas. I like being able to provide, when someone says to me, I follow your site all the time for the latest this, and people tag and reshare, that's cool as shit. And that happens all the time, so it's just cool as shit all the time. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think it's just fun. I don't think there's too much hard about it. Maybe when I get tired, that sucks. I still have stuff to do, and you have to have another energy drink or. Yeah,
but I'm sure you're like inundated with energy drinks and pre-workouts.
Yeah. Like
how many samples of pre-workout energy drinks and
someone asked me this the other day. They said, how many supplements do you think you've sampled over the years? And I said it has to be in the thousands. At a guess.
How many get sent to you a month?
Well,
I guess because you don't just leave an address on your website to send samples to. So people have to contact you. And
I used to say yes to everything. Now I tell people, explicitly warn them.
Yeah.
just so you send me this.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you're going to get featured, nor does it mean I'll review it, nor does it mean I'll even open it.
Yeah.
Because generally when we would move about, we would live in the UK, live in the US, New Zealand, I would collect a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm using this stuff. Like, if I get it, I'll use it. If it's good, I'll use it at least once. And at my usual rate, I'm end up with maybe a few hundred, few thousand worth of stuff. I just give them to the guys at the gym. I'm like, guys, I've taken 2 or 3 out of these, but they're all good. Enjoy, because they're going to go hard and be useless for me.
Yeah.
But since I've started telling people, like, hey, you might not get a review, I might not even try it, they're a little less cautious.
So how often are you back at home base in New Zealand versus out of the States? Or out of New Zealand?
I'd say like 4 months out of the year, but it's always spread. Last year it was 3 months.
So last year you were only in New Zealand 3 months out of the year. So you were traveling 9 months out of the year?
It wasn't planned like that, but that's how it happened.
Holy shit.
But it was, it was, like, we like to break it up, because obviously if you go around the world once, you may as well stop there. But yeah, it's, this year I think we're breaking it up. We have a wedding we have to attend, and so I've got to break it up, and I think there's 2 months in between. But we've been doing that since maybe 2016, I think, since I got married. Yeah.
Are you gonna slow down? You think it'll slow
we kind of have to, because the only reason I did it was because I didn't want to rent. I didn't want to pay rent in New Zealand. Yeah. And also pay for a hotel for 3 months out of the year. Yeah. So I was like, what if I just don't pay rent and then just live wherever we go? So long as you stay there for a long time, you pay the same amount of money in rent. Sure. You're just basically paying to go out of a place and come back, and go to another place and come back is pointless. Yeah. So we pretty much spent the same amount of money we normally would. I just had the benefit of being able to live where I needed, wherever I wanted to.
But this is kind of interesting too, because you have a daughter who's now 5, 6.
She's 4.
4.
Yeah, she's 4. And
she's basically grown up on the road with you.
100%. Well, except for the pandemic, that was. Yeah. So she went from one extreme to nothing, and then the other. How
she adapted on the road, and how was she like about road life and travel life?
I don't know. She was all good. Yeah, she never really had a problem. Like, yeah, like. And we never rented a house, so we never had like a house back in New Zealand since she was born until the pandemic. So she never knew like a home type thing. Yeah. But yeah, she didn't really know anything else. So like now, if we catch like an Uber, she'll like tap the driver's window, be like, "Is this for Shane?" And when we go to the hotel, she'll be like, "Is there a booking for Shane?" Like and when we go to a restaurant, same thing. They're like, "Do you have a table for 3?" We went into the restaurant the other day, and she walks in. We didn't know where she went. She'd gone in the doors, and she comes out. She's like, "Oh, Dad, there's too many people in there. They don't have room for 3." Oh. And I was like, "Okay." So we just went to the next one.
But she's 4.
But she's got she's got these things that we've done. Yeah. I guess you wouldn't do these things unless you'd been with us at these times. Yeah. But yeah, I mean.
So at 4 years old, what's her passport look like? How many times has it been stamped?
Well, I've been to 40-something countries. Wow. My wife, I think, is the same. I think she might have been to maybe more than half, maybe a little bit, around half, I would guess. But yeah, she kind of just rolled with it. Like, and you can get everything on the road, like, as long as you have necessities, like a car seat and stuff. There wasn't really anything we were without. But yeah, I mean, it was.
So at 4 years old, she's been to 20+ countries.
Something like that.
That's fucking wild.
More than me.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. That's pretty cool.
You mentioned like you still enjoy this because you enjoy like the hunt of like the new supplements, and that
I just like seeing it all. Yeah.
That just brings me back to years ago. Like we would launch products on our website, and we had to like hide like how they were listed on the back end of the website before they were live, because he would like guess.
I'm always
the names of the landing pages and like find the new info before we.
Like for those that don't know, like we would like build out the landing page for like a man's sports product.
You knew about that?
Yeah, we had to plan around it.
We'd have to change names and do like secretive stuff, because we would build out landing pages for products that we had coming out and ingredients and stuff we were playing with.
You guys were really ahead at the time, though. You guys always plan really far ahead.
Yeah.
Not everyone does that.
Well, when Shane would start, like, I would, of course, like, talk to you about names of products or whatever it was. So he started typing, like, backlinks to our website, and he would find these, like like hosted pages that were not public yet. And
hey man, if it's online, theoretically it is inherently public.
And he would send it to me like, hey, what's this? And I'd be like, motherfucker, you're not supposed to see that yet. Like, I will let you know when it's done, because we were like still like molding and creating in the process.
Or like there'd be like an Instagram post of like Steve in his office, and then like the back corner.
Oh, so many people do that. Yeah. So many people do that. Make that mistake.
Shane would have like a picture of it circled.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, Shane is like Inspector Gadget. Like he's like Sherlock Holmes with the.
And a lot of people love this stuff.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
Apparently,
I think it's just a dedication to your craft. You know?
I just think it's fun, like, and seeing what people will do next. And now that there's more brands, it's way more fun.
So, what would you never compromise about your business? I think I know this answer, but what would you never compromise about Stacked?
Like a sponsored directive, if that makes sense. Like if someone came to me and says, "Hey, I've been asked a lot. Like we do like a launch post where it's specifically about a deal, or we'll do like buy this product at so and so retailer." But like paid or not, like if someone comes to me and says like, "I mean, I had it like a few days ago. Someone said, can you write about this pre-workout, but mention that we used this and this version of this ingredient for this reason." And I was like, I mean, I'll write about the pre-workout, but I'm not going to say that because it's a matter of your opinion, right? And giving your opinion from the brand side.
Pull your mic in a little bit. It's about like a fist away from your mouth. You too, Arthur. There you go.
Yeah, so like when even if it's paid or not, I just don't like people giving me a directive, like someone saying you shouldn't share this or share this, and maybe share this and talk about the energy side when the rest of it sucks. Like I'm not a big fan of, I like finding things myself, and I like writing about it and talking about it in the perspective that a consumer would. Like you don't get much time for a consumer. Not
as like a brand selling it.
Yeah, and if you tell me all these things, I'm like, that should be reflected in the formula and the packaging. You shouldn't need to tell me that. Yeah. And if you have to, then you've done something wrong.
That's something like as we design products, we constantly look at it and go, you know, as a consumer looks at this, like how do we build the selling points into the product so they understand it when they look at it. If they're in a store and the guy behind the counter is busy and they can't help them, and when they pick this up, do they understand what they're really purchasing, or is this just another fat burner or pre-workout or etc.?
If it's got a huge flavor call out, if it's a different color, or if it's got a nice touch and great finish, good packaging, the formula fills out the entire backside, like all these things make a huge difference. The benefits you call out, the ingredients, like it shouldn't be, you don't need to explain anything to me.
I feel like that's always been like true to your roots. So like from day one, you know, we've always been friends, but you've always had your opinion about things. And, and
you never really cared. Like you were just like, oh, you like it? Okay, cool.
Yeah. No, there's been shit I said that you didn't like, and I was like, oh, fuck it, who cares? Keep moving.
He's a dick anyway.
So what trends do you see in 2023 that you like from brands?
I mean,
besides another licensed flavor.
I don't really see that. I feel like that's not really a trend. It was a trend maybe 2 years ago, or like a year ago. Now it seems to be. I mean, I guess you could call it a trend. I never liked that as a trend. I liked it as, I guess, when everyone did candy flavors, like, I wouldn't really call it a trend because it's, I don't know. I've never liked the idea of focusing too much on the flavor side of things. Like, if you have a great formula and the flavors are in addition to that, that's great. But if you're talking like added flavors, just, I don't know. It was a big thing, but
I remember whenever I've sent you products and you've reviewed products and I'd taste it, and I would go get the products that you reviewed highly and I'd taste them and I'm like, dude, these taste like shit.
Everybody's different.
Yeah, but you were always like, but it fucking works.
Oh no, 100%.
Yeah, so like you are definitely you're the consumer that you don't care what it tastes like as long as it's effective.
Like if it's protein, maybe it's a little bit different. If it's intra or amino. But someone asked me the other day, and I said, when I was introduced to supplements, I went to a gym. It was a pretty hardcore gym. I was the smallest guy by like 50%. And I remember they said, if you want to get the most out of your workouts, you just have some protein. No one said to me, if you want a delicious shake, you should, like, that wasn't what they led with. They led with the benefit, because Like that's what you're doing it for. So,
but that's what any fuel product, as long as it's effective, that's all that matters.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
I've downed some shitty stuff.
So I remember drinking protein back in the day. It tastes like chalk, and I didn't do. For example, like when aminos first came out, I forget the brand because I used to work in a retail store. What brand we used to sell, and then when I owned a retail store, was what we sold. But when I first started working in retail, we sold aminos by Civation, and they were unflavored.
Extend.
Yeah.
Unflavored.
No. Well, actually, it wasn't Civation. It was, what was it? It was another brand. Sci-Fit. That's what it was called. But anyways, and it didn't come with a scoop. We just had to get like a tablespoon, and we'd tablespoon the aminos into our mouth and just chase it back with whatever we had, right? But that was like, you wanted, aminos or BCAAs, and so that's what we did.
It was rough back then.
You didn't know any different. You didn't care.
Well, I think that's like a big culture shift we've seen because like when I started working out, I think it was like 2007, 2008, and like nothing tasted good. I mean, you had like grape, orange, and fruit punch.
I think that was started working out around then too, but that was the thing. Like I wasn't introduced like this was meant to taste good.
Like it was bearable, but like you chug it and you go to the gym and it works.
But I think you touched on a good point. Like you're buying benefits. Like what are you buying?
100%.
It's like if you're buying benefits and you don't really care about the flavors much because there's a purpose behind you taking it.
But there weren't really options back then as much as you do now. But if someone said to me, hey, you take this, you're gonna gain 5 pounds of muscle in like 6 months. Even if I get 1 pound of muscle, bruh, I don't care if it tastes like shit.
No shit.
Give it to me.
That's cool. So,
but trends. Energy drink, which despite I think was a trend for like the last 3 years, still very much
so crushing.
It's taken on a whole different life of its own. You've got different types of energy drinks, you've got different flavors, you got different sizes, formats. It's ridiculous, and hydration I think is just about to ride that same wave. Even though sports nutrition have done mostly hydration supplements and stick packs, those beverages are just sort of the next evolution, it seems.
Single serves like RTDs.
Yeah, I mean Prime is the obvious
RTGs,
example.
Yep.
Like 250 million in 1 year. Not even that. They weren't even around the entire year. But
it's crazy, yeah.
It's to be able to do that from nothing in a category that I guess was reasonably large but not trending or modern that's ridiculous. Even if you got 1% of that is impressive. To get that.
Crushing it.
It was insane.
Yeah.
And gaming, awesome. I think, is the other one.
Gaming is interesting to me because it seems like almost like a CrossFit type thing. Where obviously I think gaming esports is larger than CrossFit. I think it'll continue to be larger. But we've had this conversation before where I feel like people that want to buy, a supplement company, they want to buy a supplement company for being a supplement company, not for being, specialized, integrated down to this, micro company. I think it was like those fad companies will kind of come and go because whenever CrossFit came about, there was a lot of companies that tried to be just CrossFit supplement companies, and those faded so fast, But it's like you can integrate your company into esports, and have esport athletes and make formulas that kind of work around that. But I think that you need to, at the core, be a sports nutrition or at least a supplement company that has a bigger all-purpose than just one niche.
I think the brands, the gaming-specific brands, need to grow themselves because at the moment, like sports nutrition guys, those brands, I like to call them like incredibly versatile, very hungry.
Yeah.
If they see a bit of success in a category, they'll throw their head in the ring. They'll give it a try.
Yeah.
And what gaming products got popular, and they were essentially one effect, energy and focus, like nootropic style. And sports nutrition brands jumped all over it. And that's just one product. I feel that gaming would theoretically grow to the point where gamers would spend a good amount of money. Like gamers themselves would, I guess in totality, spend as much money on their craft or hobby as much as a gym bro.
Yeah.
Like give or take. Their equipment and all that. But then at that point, I would feel that you would be okay with spending $100, $200 a month on supplements. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
And they want to buy from gaming brands that reflect that, not sports nutrition companies that are like kind of watered down or
softer. Yeah,
like made their nootropic soft drink and like, hey, this is what you want, but it's not a gamer doing it. So I think when we start seeing gaming brands with more than just energy, like a meal replacement, like a multivitamin, like a sleep product, maybe something to specifically increase accuracy, something specifically increase, I don't know, reaction time, like, and these people are able to spend, like gym bros, we get pre-workout, intra-workout, post-workout, they would get, I guess, pre-game, intra-game, post-game, something like that, and they're okay to spend that money per month. That's when sports nutrition guys might be able to dip into it. But I think when those gaming brands that specialize in just gamers get to that point, that's when it'll become, and I think it's getting there. You see a few guys dipping into meal replacements with the idea that it gets you a convenient, nutritious meal so that you can get back to gaming faster. Perfect, makes perfect sense. Then now you got 2 products a month. So I think once that grows, like if we were just selling pre-workouts, there wouldn't be that many companies doing it.
So I think like as esports continues to grow, like the esports audience will continue, as far as like their passion for fitness and health, that'll continue to grow as well.
Yeah.
And as that pool gets bigger, like they'll latch on to companies that they identify with, you know, and having like, you know, influencers that make the brand more relatable to them.
Like if you bring a gamer into a sports nutrition, okay, I can see that.
Is more, you know, is more impactful versus trying to mold it just to them, because when you try to make formulas that are just like, you know, pre-game, during game, it's like, it's all really the same shit as far as that kind of goes. Like, but whenever you have stuff that's like really true to your core as far as your nutritional needs, I think as long as that audience continues to, like, that compounding audience continues to grow every year, I think those guys will just continue to care. They'll grow to care more about health and fitness, and they'll find brands that are true to them. You know, because like any industry, like there's so many different supplement companies. You try to find a brand that, you know, fits your personality and, you know, your desires and your likes, your taste. All that kind of stuff. And so, what do you think sets Stacked apart from others in the industry?
I guess like the comprehensiveness of it all.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we share somewhere in the realm of 2,000, 2,500 brands. Like, we keep up to date with them all.
Is that how many brands you think there are? 2,500 brands?
On a regular basis.
Yeah.
Like annually, maybe 1,000 to 1,500. But on the back end, the amount of different brands we've shared and talked about, somewhere in that realm, because like we'll share a brand, they may never make it, we might never see them again.
Like, they got that one post and they're out.
Like, and they just might dwindle down, or it might be too much, or so overall that's probably my estimate of what we're in, and then we share like 10 to 15 developments a day, and that's like a watered down amount. There's some that I just don't share because I think if I started doing like 50 a day, people might think they might not need to know about most of it.
How many posts? How many posts are you doing a day right now?
It's in the 10 to 15. I've experimented with up to like 20, but I sort of base it what you see in other more popular industries, like I guess tech and phones and stuff like that. Much bigger categories and industries. So I sort of gauge on how fast they move and how fast they think and how used to developments they are. And I kind of go off that. And I realize that this is an extremely small space compared to the world.
Compared to those,
But as far as I know, I don't think there's anyone that does that often, covers that many, and spans the countries that we do. Like, I got a guy this morning that he launched his brand 2 months ago, wanted to feature it. He's got 4 products. He's from Sweden. And I was, like, I always think, like, why would he want to be on Stacked? He's in Sweden. Like, their native language is not English. He probably didn't even email me in English. But he wants to be on there, so I'm going to take a look and
see if it's worth it.
Get back to him.
Nice. So, where do you see Stacked going in the next 5 or 10 years?
I think my goal is to keep up with the expansion of the space. Like, that's where we've started becoming sort of a good place for energy drink announcements. There wasn't really a place. There might be one that I don't know of. But there wasn't really a place that did what I did with sport supplements to energy drinks. So I'm like following Monster's ass and all these big names, and there wasn't, as far as I know, there wasn't one doing similar to what I did for them. Same with functional food, and the only reason we do that is because Sports Nutrition wanted a piece of it. So I thought, if I'm going to talk about their energy drinks, I should talk about the guys who specialize in it.
Do you have a newsletter that you do too?
I do, but it's like a daily thing.
The daily thing.
But literally everyone who's subscribed, and I don't think there's, I don't know how many, maybe 1,000 something.
Yeah.
They're all industry dudes. Like the emails that I see on there.
A bunch of people like me.
Are like, no, like Glambia, like, because whenever the email goes out and it's like an expo day, I'll get 30 bounce backs, out of office.
That's awesome.
And I go down the list and it's all like industry people, not so-and-so at gmail.com or anything like that.
Well, I think that just goes to show like the information hub you built.
Yeah.
You know? Like you start off just reviewing things as an outside source, and now like you're the source of information for a large pool of people making it happen. You know.
Let's talk about the Stacked Awards. We won a few awards from you.
We won the Protein Wars twice.
We've won the Protein Wars twice.
Brand of the Year.
We won Brand of the Year before. Let's talk about some Stacked Awards. How do you pick the brands and products for like that go into the voting process to win the awards?
Anyone who wants to be in can be in.
Okay.
Originally, I think it was very select.
Yeah.
Like I limited it to an even number that I could divide up into rounds.
Yeah.
Back when you won, I don't think we had the opening round is now. I think the Protein Wars last year was 170 brands.
How
170
many?
products.
Holy shit.
And there's a box at the bottom where if you're not on the list, you can say, I want to vote for blah, blah, blah. And so anyone that wants to be in can be in that first round.
You ever had like a rogue product win it?
No.
Okay, well, fair enough.
Well, because anytime that anyone wants to be in there, all they have to do is let me know before it starts.
Sure.
I've had people that say, why didn't you include me? Because I was like, all you had to do was ask.
Yeah.
And they're like, when did you announce? I was like, a month ago.
Yeah.
So anyone that asks can be on there.
So any company that wants to get in there,
email,
sign up. You got to sign up to be in the competition.
Just send me a message. I'll make sure you're on there. Each year we go through like the releases on protein and energy drinks and add the recent releases to the list. And then after that first round, we take the top 16, and then it's 4 versus 4. 4 groups of 4, 2 groups of 2, 1-on-1, and then we ended up on the winner.
Wins on the winner. That's pretty cool. Tell us about the time you caught. This is juicy, Shane. I don't know if you'll say it on air. We'll see.
I'm not going to say it on air.
Tell us about the time you caught a certain brand cheating to win the awards.
So when it started, I originally just did voting like very naively. We're talking maybe 2012. I still didn't think anyone cared about Stack, nor did I think anyone cared about winning some strange The only reason I did it was because when we did our best pre-workout, people were like, that's cool, that's great, I can see that. When I did best protein, everyone hated on it. They all seemed to love their own one. So I thought, why don't we put it to a vote? Hence the Protein Wars. I just put the votes out, and the first year nothing really seemed odd. It was the second year, and each round I started seeing like massive numbers for different products and stuff like that, and I was going like, man, these guys got big followings. These guys got
some traffic,
a lot of fans.
Yeah.
And someone said to me, they said, you should be aware of like cheaters, and I was like, it didn't even cross my mind.
Yeah.
Never once. And then I looked at the results and a few other things, and I'm going, this is odd that this product or this brand got 500 votes on the second day, then 10 every day after that. Like, that's a little bit odd. And so I started taking a deeper look and some extra measures to track a few things to figure things out. And it was kind of that year that I was like, okay, I guess people care, because why else would you be doing some suspicious things? And we, like I said, we started seeing things like that, 2,000 votes in 1 hour, and then 100 every day after that.
Yeah.
So we pretty much made up the rule that if I see suspicious votes or anything like that, I'm just going to delete them. I'm not going to disqualify the brand because I think I mentioned this earlier. It's you, and I had heard people say that they had heard about competitors submitting fake votes or spam votes for someone they were up against to potentially get them disqualified. And I had brands reach out saying, "Oh, they're winning by this much. You should check them out." And like, I couldn't tell if it was them. So I just thought, look, let's just remove the votes and the results be the results. Every time it's suspicious, I take them out, and I would say, yeah, there's a lot happened over the years, a lot of arguments.
So who was the biggest cheater of all?
I can't tell you that.
What is the first letter of their name?
No, I can't tell you that.
All right, how about you this? Tell us about the time someone offered you money to be top pre-workout.
And this was something that, again, this was back in the day, 2013 or 14.
Yep.
Naive. At the time, I wasn't really making a whole lot of money, like maybe $300, $400 a month.
Yeah.
And we did the best pre-workout list. Someone reached out to me and said, do you have a rate card? And I had literally just heard this word and just made a rate card to show what we could do.
Sure.
And ads. And then he messaged back saying, do you offer anything that's not on this rate card? And then I immediately messaged back and I was like, nah, man.
I want the stuff in the back room. What's under the desk?
And I messaged back being like, nah, it's 3 pages. It's all there.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And he's like, oh, okay, oh, cool. I'll take a look at it. And then I talked to my wife and I said, yeah, someone inquired. And then he said, do I have anything that's not on the card? And she's like, you stupid. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, he was asking if there was anything you could do to, like, specifically. And he mentioned, like, top pre-workouts and stuff. And I was like, oh, do you think he wanted to pay? And she's like, 100% that's what he was meaning.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I just told him what was on the card.
Yeah, what's on the card. And there's not an option to be top pre-workout on the rate card, that's for sure.
No, so he was like, again, I just thought that maybe he thought I left pages out.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I hadn't finished it. And I was like, man, I was like, nah, dude, it's all there.
All right, can we talk about brand of the year and as it's kind of grown?
Yeah.
And we were brand of the year before.
You were.
And
a beautiful trophy shirt.
I would like to exchange our T-shirt that we won for brand of the year for a beautiful glass trophy. I do love this shirt. I think it's
like, have you ever put it on?
Well, it's an XL. I'm a double XL, and this is a beautiful sustainable edition American Apparel.
But like late at night, like you just slip it on, like just to see.
So like a slim, thick fit,
just to see what it looks like.
No, I haven't.
So no one's worn that.
Nobody. This is an unworn, stacked. This actually might end up on eBay one day, so you get a huge. Yeah. And we have like a beautiful like ring that we've won.
But you've got a progression of.
We do.
Me going from making no money to making some money.
Yeah, we won this one first, and then we won protein. Which we got this one protein year. That was first, right?
2017.
Yeah, that was. And then
we're lucky because those broke for most people along the way.
No, baby, we got it. Yeah, we're good. And we got our big beautiful ring right here. Which was this is the first ring you ever did?
That was the first one.
This is the first stacked ring that there ever was.
One of a kind.
Which I think is pretty cool. So. It's got real diamonds in it, too.
Yeah, if you want.
Real New Zealand blood diamonds.
Oh, 100%. New Zealand blood. I actually think it was made in Canada, but whatever.
Okay, fair enough. So, well, man.
You're on the Mr. Beast level, giving everyone Lamborghinis for winning brand of the year.
Well, see, my thing was someone said you should. I think it was you who said you should do something bigger, and I was like, I don't make any money off any of this.
Yeah.
Like, none of this. Like, I make money on ads for the site.
Yeah.
I don't get any money for Protein Wars, any money for Brand of the Year, any money for Clash of the Cans. Like, none of that.
It draws brands in, though.
It's street cred.
Yeah, but again,
it draws them in, draws them to push, Stacked. Like, I mean, I remember at one point in time, didn't we have Stacked on our labels when we did Brand of the Year or something like that? We did Stacked on our labels.
Yeah, I think we had the little, because you have, like, the digigital, like, symbol, like the gold medal, and we were putting that. I think that was on our protein.
We had that on our protein for a while. Stacked Brand of the Year on our protein.
Fantastic.
Those were in thousands of stores across the U.S.
Didn't even notice.
Yeah, I sent you a picture.
I might have forgotten.
Oh shit! Well,
big time.
Yeah, big time.
Well, I mean, I thought the shirt was just as good.
Yeah. So that was the
Yeah, that shirt. So you got the progression.
Yeah.
That was maybe 50. No, not $50. Maybe $30.
Well, I'll take it. It's
and then the glass trophy or the crystal trophy might have been 100 and something.
Yeah.
Then the ring was the big leap.
I'm gonna insure that ring.
I mean, we've made.
I'm gonna get it insured, so if somebody tries to break in and steal it, we got it under lock and key. So.
Well, it's you and there's only no one's won it more than twice.
Yeah.
So it's you, NutriBio, and Rise have won it. Twice.
Yeah.
Does everyone that won it twice, was it back to back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Coincidentally.
Yeah. Interesting. But nobody's ever come back and won it a third time.
No one's come back.
I don't know. Maybe we can run for it this year.
Well, this year, anyone can be third.
Yeah.
This year would make, if it was any of those three, would make them the first three-peat.
It's only March.
Yeah, it's still early in the year. We're good.
Yeah.
Well, cool, Shane. I appreciate you making it down from New Zealand to come visit us in Dallas just for this podcast.
Just for this is entirely
dedicated trip that we really appreciate.
Entirely.
So it was good having you on, man. And I think a lot of people in the industry will find this like super interesting to hear you talk about your life and Stack to where it's going. I mean, you've definitely accomplished a lot, and we're excited to see where you go from here.
Thank you.
Hi, brother.